hot, dry, and a heat advisory in effect until 7 p.m. And we're going to be holding on to these hot and dry, clear conditions for the rest of the week to kick off July. But by this weekend, we can see temperatures drop back down into those 90s. Now, it's not a result of Hurricane Beryl. It's actually a result of a cold front that's going to push through. And that's going to determine the trajectory of this hurricane as it starts to make landfall a little bit closer once it enters the Gulf. Temperature change over the last 24 hours drops about 25 degrees down into those 70s, then up about 25 degrees up into those triple digits. And we're leveling out at 101 right now across the entire Concho Valley, a variation of 90s and triple digits across the entire region. 100 there in Ballinger, 101 in San Angelo. Everybody else in those 90s. Of course, I'm looking for 10 degrees, but right now we're looking about at 6 across the entire region. Things are drying up pretty nicely, though. As you can see, those dew points in those 50s and those 60s as those humidity indices have dropped all the way down into those 20s, while Junction still holds on to a little bit of humidity in those 34% right now. Of course, we're talking about the upper level pattern. We're looking at this breaking of these high pressures with this long wave trough that's going to push through by the weekend. That's the cold front we're watching through that could push some of that moisture in. But take a good look off the East Coast. Good little circulation making its way in towards the Carolinas could be the potential for a storm. Of course, my model is always picking up a lot of these things, overestimating it right now. The water vapor showing you this high pressure really just exploding around the entire region, including there on the border of Louisiana and East Texas. Pretty good sized storm making its way in, taking you down to the moisture tracker, about a couple more millibars down in the atmosphere. We're going to watch that cold front push pretty hard across all this moisture, and that's going to condense it all over across the entire sun belt, if not the southern portion of the United States, for some pretty eruptive severe weather that's going to push its way through. Of course, we're talking about the severe weather outlook when we talk about severe weather, and everybody else with those storm chasers are in that part of Nebraska while we're watching a tornado watch being issued for that entire region. Of course, a lot of those thunderstorm watches being issued along the Dakotas, and then some flash flooding around New Mexico. But of course, let's talk about it. Hurricane Beryl. Take a good look at the size of this I formation. Pretty tight, pretty strong, pretty defined as it continues to push its way east. It turned to a Category 4 in only less than 24 hours. Now, it's still slated to continue to push off towards the east over the next couple days. It's making pretty good time right now. 21 miles per hour as a Category 4. We'll see if it doesn't downgrade, looking like a Category 1 before it makes its way towards the Yucatan Peninsula, and then it's going to fight its way in. Sorry about the mess. Take a good look. This is the only model that's going to continue to show you in clear definition how this storm is going to maintain intensity, then sort of break up in its circulation as it gets closer and closer towards the Bay of Campeche. Once it pushes across the Yucatan, we'll see if it doesn't turn back into another hurricane. So tonight, down into the 70s, still holding on to some of those warmer and clear temperatures. Then tomorrow, pretty hot, so let's be careful because we're pushing those dangerous heat levels. We'll see if that heat advisory doesn't get extended. Then we only have a couple more days to deal with this heat. Of course, we're viewing a lot of those 4th of July conditions. The hurricane shouldn't impact it, as well as that cold front. But as soon as it's over, take a good look down into those 90s, well into that weekend where we're going to drop back down into those comfortable levels and then bounce right back up into those triple digits while those lows follow the same trend from those mid 70s down to those lower 70s, then right back up into those mid 70s. Stay tuned on more of the break. You're watching KSAN News at 5.